going? It's a beautiful morning here in Canada, middle of November. It's below zero. It's not fun. It's especially if you don't have a lot of meat on your bones. I thought, you know, I'm a burly Canadian boy. I can handle the winter, but it's cold. And when you wake up and it's cold, it's not easy. This is now 1 full year with the diesel heater, and it's been working perfectly. Knock on wood. This van is not perfect. I didn't want a perfect van. You know, there's rust. It's a Canadian van. It's an 05, all-wheel drive. I bought it with these rims on it, which, a quick note, if you're about stealth, don't get a van with custom rims or anything custom on the outside. That's my advice. Anything that grabs the eye, if you've got a van and you plan to kind of hide in plain sight, I would keep it completely stock on the outside. Be mindful of what you put on the roof. You can put things on the roof you don't really notice, but if you're sitting somewhere parked that you shouldn't be, that's a dead giveaway if you've got stuff on your roof. Things were different years ago. Van life is nothing new, especially in the extreme sport world for the last 20-30 years, and then before that it was the hippies, right? But people have been dwelling in vans right in front of your eyes for years and years and years. I started my van life, whatever you want to call it, in 2015 with a Pontiac Montana. It was beige. It was the short wheelbase one, or the short, not extended. I was invisible in that thing, to be honest. Across Canada to the west coast to Victoria, to the island and back, and I slept in some of the most sketchy areas. I won't say exactly where, but not so much sketchy. Well, sketchy up North Ontario for sure. That is a place that I didn't think was going to be as much of a barren wasteland as it is. You've really got to watch your fuel gauge. Don't ever let it go below a half, especially on something that's got a small tank. I thought, you know, there's going to be service stations and stuff up there. No, there's no service stations. It's little town after little town after little town. Sometimes you'll just pull up to a gas station, 7 p.m. It's closed down for the day. If they're not getting the business, they'll shut her down. So that's my advice. Definitely carry extra fuel, or always stay above a half tank. It's a 2005. I've done a ton of maintenance on this thing. That's what everyone says, and they're completely right. Hopefully that wind noise isn't killing you guys, but you've got to make sure, for your own peace of mind, and it's just a good idea, that your van is in tip-top shape before you start building it out. That's my advice. I put brakes all around on it, whether needed or not. Calipers, rotors, pads, all new e-brake stuff in the back, all new e-brake cables because they were seized. Stuff like the sway bar in the front there had a crack in it. It's a real common problem with the GMs, and I spent $100 and some odd on a brand new sway bar. And even when you think you've got it licked, I came back from Niagara Falls and I looked at the van and it was leaking out off the one side of the corner of the van, and I thought, oh crap, is that the AC? Nope, on the wrong side. The entire power steering system had basically drained out all its fluid without me even knowing, because there's no light on the dash, and if you strike a leak on the road and you keep driving, you know, there's only a quart or so in there before it's, man, I hope that wind isn't bad for you guys. Maybe we should go inside the van here. Long story short, had to put every single power steering line, a power steering pump, the cooler line under the bumper. What else did I do? A whole bunch of stuff. Rebuilt the entire system. When one component goes wrong, the other parts usually aren't far behind. It's just shocks in the front, no coils, but I did a brake line, front to rear brake line. I put a fuel pump in it for no good reason. I just saw that it was original, 260 kilometers on the van. It's a GM, man. It's gonna need a fuel pump. Do I want to do it on the road or pay a shop to do it? It's 2 weeks out. I'm in Winnipeg, and a pump's, you know, $700, and the shop wants $2,000 to put it in because it's an old rusty Astro van. No, man, $300. I'll do it in the driveway. Put it right out of my mind. That's my advice. Your tires, everything. You want to go over this thing with a fine-tooth comb and then go back over it. And then stuff can still go wrong. I kind of want to talk about my Montana a bit more. I was in my mid to early 20s. I think I was 25 when I sold it. And I thought to myself, it was my daily driver. I had other cars, but I thought, at this age, I should be driving something a little cooler, is what I thought. And I regret it terribly. I should have never got rid of that van. Obviously, you've got to make changes and get rid of things for better things to happen, but I sold it to a guy that I worked with, and that was torture to watch him run that thing into the ground after I had so many memories in it, you know, going across Canada and back by myself solo. The places that I slept in, I touched on that earlier. Let's just say it's a place where van life is not tolerated anymore. Starts with a B, ends with an F, and it's right before you get to BC. But I slept in spots, epic spots. I've got the pictures. I'll edit it all into a video. I've got a little bit of footage. I'll make a video of all that content. That's 7 years old now. That's just sitting on my computer. But I was the type of person that would, you know, obviously, like everyone says, you come in late and you leave early. So I'd come in late. I'd find a spot where resort people would park, kind of deal, and I just parked there. And I had Ontario plates on, but I just assumed that they would think that, you know, someone visiting or someone was, you know, working from out of province. People don't usually zone in right at that time. This is 7 years ago now. A stock minivan, people weren't immediately assuming that you were sleeping in it. So vans are part of the skateboarding world. Like I said, extreme sports. We don't look at them the same way everyone else does. Like, oh, the minivan, that's like a middle-aged person's vehicle that, you know, has no want to adventure, or, you know, is basically given up on being an automotive enthusiast or whatever, if they were. But it's the opposite way with skateboarding. Skaters see a van as opportunity. You're loading it up with your buddies, you're heading to the park, however far it is away, throw the decks in the back. It's how great memories are made. So anyways, getting off topic here, but I knew I would, so this is going to be just a straight talking video. I hope the wind isn't ruining all my audio quality. I guess this will be a learning experience, but actually let's go in the van.